It's been about a year and a half since our last one, and we're at. This is not even our studio. What's the studio called, Ernie? Your show,
Oh, Hungry and Bored.
Hungry and Bored Studio. So
BOARD.
thanking Ernie for letting us be here using his studio. So, how's that show going, Ernie? 12
Good.
episodes?
12 episodes.
You went viral yet?
Not yet. We're working. We'll get there. 12 weeks straight, though.
Who's on it?
We had Mark for majority of the episodes, and the last two have been Richard Montalongo.
You're missing someone
And
important.
I thought you meant Gek. I assume they knew the other. The main person is Nathaniel. Nate Aguirre.
Wow. That's awesome.
The host.
Nate does everything. Nate does a lot of different things.
He's a creative. That's what they call him
He's a
nowadays.
creative. I would say, yeah. He's a creative.
You've never had any of us on the show, but maybe that's coming
This
later.
is. We'll see how you guys do here, and then if you make it here, then we'll.
Hey, you're all saying that because Nate's right there and he's recording for us. We're missing Devin. He's recovering from a hernia surgery. So next week we'll have Devin, even though Josh is good enough and Ernie.
I'm not.
We have a special guest, Victor Espinoza, that has never been on a podcast. He's never done nothing like this before, so I'm a little nervous. No, he's not nervous.
A little different for sure.
What was that question you had? I like that question that we were talking about gifting and talent. You could direct this to Josh because Josh had some good stuff.
No, my question, right?
Yeah.
So I looked at Ernie's guitar. Well, actually, when I came in, Ernie mentioned his guitar. And I started thinking, now this wasn't an original question. Somebody asked me this question a while back. So I seen that guitar.
So we're getting the leftover question.
And they asked me, when is a gift a talent, or are the lines blurred? Like I pick up that guitar today and I take lessons for years and years and years, and I become good at guitar. And now I play guitar at church on the pulpit. People will now say that that's a gift. Oh my gosh, he's exercising his gift. Is that a gift? Or is that just me saying, I want to play guitar and I'm going to pick up this guitar and take guitar lessons and become good at it, like I could at anything I choose to do? Is there a line between a gift and a talent, or do they become the same at some point? Are they blurred? What's the answer
Joshua.
to that?
To take it. I feel like some stuff is kind of like faith without works is dead. Oh, I like that. So guitar, right?
Like James chapter 1.
So guitar, if you're talking about just picking up and playing it, that's like 1 in a billion, right? 1 in a billion.
What do you mean 1 in a billion?
Like, out of all the professional guitar players, there's only a few that like don't know music. You ever hear that? Like, I'm self-taught. There's only like 3 or 4 world-class guitar players that are like self-taught, like on a world-class level, right? Everyone else has to practice hours, the 10,000 hours, right? So like guitar,
Tell everyone what the 10,000 hours is.
10,000 hours is how many hours it takes to master a field, right? Could be anything. Guitar, drums, anything. It takes about 10,000 hours. So like all those world-class guitar players have practiced daily. It's not like, yeah, they're talented, but you have to put in the work. But I also feel like there's some God-given talent, like singing. Like there are people that can just pick up a microphone and sing without any.
Do you know anyone that's a good singer on this table?
Ernie has a God-given talent of. We've also taken singing lessons together, and the same amount, yeah.
You take guitar. Us three take guitar.
And I'm not getting better, but Ernie is getting better, right?
So I'm trying.
But he also could sing right away, though. So
does that mean you could sing, Vic?
Okay, so no, I don't ever know. I've never known Ernie to be a singer. So did Ernie have this God-given talent that just finally came out at the age of 41? Or
you always sing?
Or have you always been
I've always
closet singer or whatever?
Shower singer.
Shower singer.
I've always sang with like Richard, like we would sing like one here and there, like on our own kind of thing, but never in front of people and never on a stage type. Besides the choir, we've all been in choirs and stuff. but no, it was. I haven't sing since I started singing with them for the past like 2 months. Before that, I haven't sang for like 15, 20 years.
He's a lead vocalist at our church.
And
our praise team.
no.
But he sings very good.
So then I just, after 15, 20 years, I was like, oh, I'll sing with you. And then I'm just like,
So
Without
you're
any type of training.
so you were sitting on your talent, Ernie. That's what you're saying.
yeah. I mean, if singing, if I have my own opinions on my singing, but if I do sing good, then yeah, I was sitting on my talents for like 20 years,
Yeah.
15
I
years.
wonder how God feels about that.
I'll ask him to.
Whatever.
Talk to him.
I feel like too. I grew up playing baseball, and there's always I was a catcher, so I was always around pitchers, right? So there'd be some kids that could throw really hard, and some kids that couldn't really throw hard. And like scouts always look for a certain body type, a certain build, but I've seen people 5'7", throw 90 miles an hour, and you can do all the training, but there's some people that's God given. That's a God-given talent if you could throw hard or not, because you can train, you can go to the lessons, but there's some kids they could just pick up a ball at like 7 years old, and you're like, that's like someone special. Yeah. And I feel like that you see that in sports a lot, because it's like you can't really teach some things, right? It's just, and some stuff is unexplainable. It's kind of like God gives gifts, and like you can't really scientifically prove it, right? They can scientifically prove why you throw a ball hard, but a lot of it isn't anything that they've done differently than anyone else. It's just they're able to do that and someone else isn't. So it's kind of like you see stuff like that, which is like you can't really explain it.
So that would be a gift.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you exercise the gift and
you cultivate it. It's like a plant, right? You still have to nurture it, and it'll grow and you'll get better. But like that's fulfilling your full potential of your gift, right? If Ernie sings and then doesn't sing for 15 more years, he's probably going to be at the same level. But if he keeps singing, he'll probably get better. But he already started at like a baseline of like, he was really good at singing.
Decent.
Right? And I could practice for 15 years. Like, say if I practiced for 15 years and he just quit, I don't think I could reach his level, even if I put in all this work.
So
I agree, though, if you've heard him.
I don't think
you don't think you have a gift of singing then?
No,
You
not
don't.
at all. No, I wish, because I would be singing. Like if I had a gift, I would.
You're like right now.
So if you did become better at singing,
I would do it.
and then you sang now with Ernie on the stage,
Yeah.
and I went to church and I seen both of you up there singing, and I said, "Oh my gosh, they have a great gift." I'd be wrong.
You need somewhat of a gift to get up there. Not everyone could sing. That is,
It's true.
That's a natural talent.
It also takes a lot of people are afraid too. That's something you have to get. Like, there's all these other variables, right?
So it's still gray. I mean, it's still gift, talent. What did I want to do? Maybe that was inspired by God, and I just picked it up. And
Like, he had a gift, but he never showed his gift. He could have just been sitting.
I look at everybody at church, and I see the bass player, the guitar player, and I think they've been playing. I could be wrong, but I think everybody's been playing for a long, long time. Like they were kids, and they picked up the guitar at some point. So that was probably something like a gift, saying, "Hey, I'm into music, and I want to play this instrument." Or even the singers, they've been singing for a very, very long time. Nobody has picked up singing like in their 40s, So I think everybody, but again, he said that it was a talent that a gift that he'd been sitting on. But I just see everybody up there. I would say it was a gift because they've been doing it for many, many years. And I remember them as kids doing the same thing. And now they're older and they're continuing.
right. So you said your daughter plays piano at church. Is that a gift or is that talent? I mean, or is it something she worked at?
Okay, so I've also thought of that right there with my daughter, my son and my daughter. My wife and I years ago said we want to put them in piano. We want our kids to learn piano. And
A lot
today,
of pride, huh? Showing off, like, look at my kid. That's why my kid did it too. That's why my kid did it too.
so today they know a lot about piano. They're not, they're not great or anything, but they know they can play songs. So is that just learned? It's learned. They learned that at the age of 5 years old when they both started till today. That's years and years of practice.
Right.
They learn, they know how to play, and they can play today.
Yeah.
What is that?
I got a comment too. On top of that, that was perfect what you just said. So God also gives you a desire to keep going, right? So like they could have a talent, but tomorrow they could be like, I don't want to do this ever again.
Well, they said I don't want to do
I
it
don't want to do it ever again, right?
day number 2.
But if that was truly their gift and talent, God would give like they would be doing it every single day. Like it wouldn't run out.
I don't know, because look at Ernie. He ran away for 15 years from his gift.
That was
I
on
heard
his
my
own.
back on the Lord.
So
He practices every day now.
So for my daughter was going to piano for many years and went, and then there was a period in time where she didn't want to go anymore. And so we were going back and forth. Should we pull her out? Should we keep her in? Today, she doesn't take piano lessons at a school anymore, but I will hear her on her own play the piano. So now I think I don't know if she loves it, but she likes to play piano, and she does it, just gets up and gets on the piano and just plays on her own. So did it now become...
Do you think that's God inspired? Or do you think that's just on her own, right? It's probably not on her own.
Well, look at my daughter plays the piano too, not just Victor's.
I'm just saying for my own. So I've been playing guitar for like a year.
Wait, hold on. So my daughter plays too.
Okay.
They go to the same spot, right, to take piano lessons. And I would say she's somewhat gifted, not like this genius when it comes to piano. But I have my other nieces, my sister's kids, that if they pick a piano up right now, they don't have the experience or the time that my daughter has. They'll learn a song like 2 minutes. My daughter's like a couple hours, So I think there's also like probably levels to giftings too. Like some are more talented and gifted than others, where like my daughter, she's gifted, but I have other nieces that are like, wow, you should probably pick up that instrument more often. And then the time and the discipline. Some of my nieces, they play a lot, where my daughter, I wish she would play more, where Victor's daughter's starting to play more. And that discipline kicks in, which makes her talent look a lot better now. Maybe, I don't know.
Should we ask ChatGPT?
What's the
Not gonna have
difference
an
between a
opinion.
gift and a
A
talent?
gift often refers to the natural ability or aptitude that comes effortlessly to someone, while talent suggests a skill or ability that has been developed and refined through practice and effort.
Interesting.
While gifts can form the foundation for developing talent, talent itself is usually the result of hard work and dedication.
Just messed up our whole conversation.
Well, I just don't want to,
Okay, so
that's exactly what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
yeah, there is kind of blurred lines, right?
I think the lines are blurred. They need each other. One needs the other. I mean, you just can't have a gift and just go up there and sing without having some sort of daily practice. Okay, this note thing that you have to do to hit these certain levels these crazy singers do. I don't know.
So, well, how about this? Is everyone's gifted in some way or another? Do you think?
Like at something?
Yes.
You have to determine what that is.
Like right now, what would you say your your brother right here? He's gifted in what?
So I guess I don't agree with everyone's gifting.
So if you were to say on the spot, like what do you think he's gifted?
We don't talk like this.
I know, but we're just talking.
He's super mechanical.
Besides that, I think that's just a discipline that he learned.
I would say so. Yeah.
That's
I have to do something. Shoot, what do I have? What am I going to do? Well, let me try this out.
That's a tough one.
What would you say? I would say him, like his gifting, which a lot of people don't think, or they maybe don't realize it's a gift, is the way someone could influence people. Where I've heard Nate even say, like when Victor talks, you got to listen, or other people say, he could influence people. Where just being able to influence somebody is a gift in
That's
itself.
true. That's very true. I would agree.
Or the way you're able to maybe have a conversation with somebody and have them think or give them your opinion and frame it in such a way where they just change their own opinion. And it's just, some of it is the way you frame the argument, but a lot of it is just, man, just the influence that you carry where it changes people's mind just because of your influence. What do you think? You think that's Victor?
Don't agree? He's just kind of looking like, I don't agree with anything.
So I think that can be learned, though. I think you can say, I think you can go to school for that. Not that I went to school for anything, but I think you can. Those things are learned. Those things are learned. They can be manipulated.
Just like anything else. There's like anything else, but there's also some people that are just very influential. Yeah. Like you see someone and it's like, how's that little 8-year-old leading the crowd over there? You know,
right?
Or someone steps into that where it's like
kids on TikTok or like YouTube, like 9-year-old kids that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's just like they just got lucky or something. Where how do you explain like a little 6-year-old that has 4 million followers?
But they're like influencing them.
Yeah.
Not in a good way, but they're influencing.
And so Ernie's talent, and I think a lot of people have an idea of what our talent is, where it might be something else. Like who would ever thought Ernie could sing before these last 2 months, you know?
So I've lived with this guy for, I mean, I've lived with.
It's so weird when I hear.
I don't know what time we broke up as far as like when we separated homes, you know, when he lived here and I lived over there, but I'd never heard Ernie. I've never known Ernie to be a singer.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, if Ernie's singing today,
back up.
You obviously didn't watch the last podcast.
Oh, yeah, I did sing on the podcast.
If Ernie's singing today, I would say that that's a gift.
And then you hear me, you're like, nah, that's not a gift. That's so rude.
No, he sings good.
I'm gonna take everybody's.
I get jealous. I'm like,
really?
He's so good.
He's kind
yeah, he cries.
So are you like a Matagiri? Or are you a Moses kind?
He's an Ernie Espinoza.
Yeah,
he's a one of a kind.
So like, but your range, like, are you like a
no? Those guys,
Shawn Mendes.
Those guys are like
those guys have been doing that
for a long time. They're skilled, right?
Very skilled.
Well, there's a big difference.
John Mayer.
Like you could have a good voice, but then you also, depending on what they do, it's stage presence and
he has excellent timing.
Okay, the timing.
So are you the guy like they'll take the mic and they'll just take off with it? You're not the take the mic guy.
I'm barely like no, that's not me.
Okay,
but it's
good. But he's choosing.
You might be a good singer, but I don't know if you've ever said, "Let me see if I can sing." Maybe you're probably the best singers don't even know they can sing.
Well, they know they could sing, but they're afraid to show their talent. They're just afraid to step out.
Have you ever sang? Like, do you sing when you're like?
No.
Do you know if you could sing? Like, I don't know.
Like in the car,
you know?
Do you ever sing in the car?
Well, I know music isn't a thing for me. Like if I'm gonna listen to music,
let me see, sing something.
Sing something.
Do a vocal.
If I'm gonna listen to music, I'm gonna listen to Spanish music or country music, a one-person singer. I like Mexican, Spanish type.
You don't try to sing with.
No, and I very rarely listen to that, but that's where I'm gonna go.
Like Volver. Volver. Go ahead.
No, but music isn't a thing for me. I don't listen to music in the car. I don't want to hear so and so sing. I just never a thing. So I'm gonna say I don't have the gift of singing because if music isn't even a thing for me, why would I want to sing?
I don't know.
You'll never hear. My wife plays music all the time, Christian music. It's playing nonstop. I will never play a song. Just
so you don't love Jesus, like Christian music? I don't know. I'm just like, it's just not too refined yet. I'm waiting for it to be more refined when better musicians come along and singers. You know, but along with kind of what Ernie says, of course everyone has giftings. I think sometimes most people are afraid to articulate what they want to do and how they want to work their gift. Like, I'm a singer, but I don't want to be up there because I'm afraid to sing. Or I'm a singer, but I don't want to show people or to tell people because then it makes me vulnerable. What if I don't sing good? And so most people,
It's kind of like
well, you look at it in the church.
Brennan from Step Brothers. I'm
Yeah.
a really good singer. No one knows.
Just most people never take that step to use their God-given talent for, maybe the church or maybe for the work or, fill in the blank, whatever they need to do. But most people, I think, they sit on their giftings and their talents, like Brother Ernie.
With me, it's just I'm
Like,
not.
I never had a chance.
I
never had a chance. Jeez, it was
not
off.
He
It was off. I put it off. It was the devil. He turned my phone back on.
I forgot what I was saying.
No,
So what made you say right now, hey, I want
That's
to
a good
now
question.
do this?
I think part of it is I've wanted to sing as just
Wasn't that your motto, like in 2023, a new me or something? No.
yeah, sure. But I'd like singing. I like music. Like I'll play music all day, music all day.
When I've come over here, there's music playing
Always,
on my TV all the
always
time,
music.
and I'm thinking, why is this guy playing music all the time?
Always.
Well, I didn't know you.
When I
love
go to
music.
bed, I have a playlist I'll play and I'll fall asleep and it's like
Are you
music
guys
playing.
brothers?
I did not know that.
It's like you guys barely met today.
So,
I had no idea
but
you
no,
like
Sharice.
music.
So Sharice and Christy know that I used to dabble like singing. So they would always, hey, sing with us. And then finally I said, okay, I'll sing at your church with you guys.
At your church, Ernie?
That's at the time.
At the
That's
time, he didn't go
conversation.
there.
It was, I'll sing at your church with you guys. So I did. I sang when I didn't go there yet. I sang I think one special service or something. And then they're like, "Oh, come to the practice." I said, "Okay." I was scared. It's still nerve-wracking for me. And it's them that have to tell me, "No, you're going to sing this song." I'm just like,
So you get nervous up there?
I don't get nervous up there when we're all singing. If I have to break out and sing on my own, like a solo, oh man, all week I won't be able to sleep. I'll be like,
You've done a solo?
no,
He's about to.
no, I'm not going to do
Oh wow.
He
But-
sings like, what's that
That'd be
guy's name?
weird.
Corey? Is it Corey?
it. No.
Brandon Lake.
Oh, Brandon Lake. Yeah, Brandon Lake. He's like a younger
No.
Brandon Lake, or excuse me, an older Brandon Lake.
Brandon Lake, no. But it's just I probably wouldn't sleep all week. I'd be nervous. I'd think about it. Like it's just that it's part of the public speaking part. I can't do that either. I just don't like doing it. Just the confidence, I guess. I don't know.
I think you'd make a good public speaker, Ernie.
You know what it is? It's intimidating because that there's like a spotlight. You're on a stage. It's
Yeah,
intimidating.
it is.
You get used to it, I think.
Yeah, and that's what I think. It's just over time I'll just get more comfortable and
You've had to speak in front of a big crowd, right? Like in front of the church here and there, maybe announcements, something.
Ernie?
You.
Oh yeah, it's been a while, but I
Did you get nervous or not?
like on stage.
yeah. It's been nerve wracking. I had to go do a lesson at some point about maintaining a car, things like that, and yeah, it's been pretty nerve wracking. But
Josh doesn't get nervous. That's
No,
his
I do.
element.
I don't like my voice, so like, I don't like hearing my voice. So
You know what we were talking about earlier is about your family and your church. That's what I kind of want to talk about. How you
Oh.
growing up?
so I grew up. Well, my parents still go there. My family's been at the same church for like almost 100 years. So when I left, it was like, it wasn't like hey, we'll miss you. It was like a big deal.
like, how could you?
Yeah, it was like I was like betrayed them or like treason,
Trade
right?
us and God.
Yeah, but it was more like at that point, I'm like, when does it become tribal and when does it become like your calling, right? Because you're saying like, wow, everyone, like, it's cool to go to church with your family, but if that's not what God is calling you to do, like you're kind of just holding yourself back.
And you're the cup church? What is
Yeah,
it? How do
one
you
cup.
One cup. Do you guys know what
So
that
during
is?
communion.
When you do communion?
Okay, so let me explain.
There's in his church,
What?
they're separated by this. Go ahead. That's
So-
pretty cool.
So when you take communion, have you ever taken communion before?
Yes.
So they go by.
You know how you could have individual cups?
So they
Like
have
everyone-
one cup, because in the Bible it says one cup and one bread. So like they would pass around one cup and everyone would drink from the same cup. But then I did more research on it. There's actually 4 cups because if you're following the Passover, it's 4 cups.
So the church that you went to was
They didn't read. I guess they didn't research.
they didn't research that part.
But the traditional like Passover is 4 cups.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen
It says
the
they
one
drink
cup
out
before.
of 1 cup, but like they
Yeah. So their organization is split by the ones that drink out of 1 cup and the ones that don't drink out of 1 cup.
There's a guy at the gym and he's like, I don't like you because you went to a 1 cup and I went to a cup. Like it's weird. Like they don't. Not that they don't like each other, but it's like, oh, they're part of the world.
They're lesser.
They're part of the world. You know?
What? And this is what organization?
Church of Christ.
Church of Christ.
So it came about in the 1800s, but it's supposed to be like this is how they did things. The first apostle, the first church, because it's like we could do church anywhere. Because it pretty much they did it like on the frontier, because it was after like the Civil War. It's called the Campbell movement. So pretty much like you could do church anywhere, and it was kind of like it was in the South. So like they don't have instruments, so it's kind of like then it turned into like political, right? So like the North had instruments and the South didn't, so it was like, oh, you have instruments, like you're rich type of thing. So it's kind of like cultural and like theology kind of like
Yeah.
split, right, with like the Baptists. So it's kind of like similar to Baptist.
You guys before Baptist or no?
No, it's like no, because it split from the Baptists.
So you leaving your church, how many years ago was that?
Shoot, like 11 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
11 or 12 years. But I knew that I was going to leave at like an early age because I didn't.
Did you know you're gonna leave like to go to the multiple cup church or just another?
No,
church?
that never like I never thought that was like a thing. I never thought like because I went to private school for high school, so like when I was like 14, I started meeting. I'm like, oh shoot, there's like other people because you're kind of like in this bubble, right? So like you just everyone's kind of the same. Everyone kind of in the organization, everyone kind of dresses the same. Everyone's kind of the same, right? So when you go, you're like, oh wow, there's other Christians that believe other things, and then started reading more, and I'm like, wow, they kind of just like tailor everything to like a couple books. Like I didn't read the Old Testament until I was like a teenager because it was like less important, right? It was important, but it wasn't like important. It was just about the New Testament. But they would pick and choose things from the Old Testament could kind of tailor, like, oh, you can't have tattoos. But I'm like, well, it's in the Old Testament. You know what I mean? So you could kind of like pick and choose. But I didn't really read the Old Testament until I was in high school. So like stuff like that was like kind of eye-opening when I was a teenager. And then I think when I was like 15, I'm like, I can't. But it's like, it was one of those like, how do I, I'm not even an adult and I live with my parents. So it was like, kind of like I had to go.
So you're all rebelling at 15 by
Yeah,
leaving a
dude.
church, going to another church.
Well, no, that wouldn't have been able to happen. Like, and then like I would go to church Wednesday night, Sunday morning, Sunday night. So like three times a week since I was like born.
Yeah, that was us too.
So it was like there was no way.
Do you think that's why you're a little socially awkward?
No, I'm an introvert. I'm an introvert.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you left your church to go
Yeah.
to another church, or you
Yeah.
left and didn't go to church?
No, I left to go to another church.
To another church, and it was
Yeah.
the 4-cup church.
It was the church I go to now.
Oh, so you didn't
Yeah.
come here when you got married?
I came here after I got married.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you left. I'm sorry. I thought you
No,
left when
no.
you were 15-ish.
No. I left when I was 24.
Okay.
When I was 24. But like it was one of those like I didn't really pay attention a lot. I could kind of like zone.
That it's funny because you could have family members at other churches, and it's almost like they're like, we serve a different God, and it separates by just small little details in the book, which we agree or we don't agree on. It's like, well, your God's a little different, or I can't go to that church because for whatever reason. What it's basically saying is almost like, yeah, we serve different gods. Like there's a lot of nuances in the belief systems from church to church, but maybe from where we're from, it's like, yeah, we're not going to fellowship with that. I don't know. That's how
no,
sometimes
no.
I see.
No, that's true because my biggest problem was like even like when I was younger, I'm like, you guys aren't discipling anybody. Like, there's nobody new that come. Like it was the same. Like, so there's a bunch of like World War II. So it was kind of cool in a way. There's a bunch of World War II vets that like they literally got saved like drowning like in a ship. Like they were drowning like in a ship, and like they were like, and they all started this church after World War II. So it was like say like 10 families, right? But then it's like they never really got outside of those like families. So then the church like would die off kind of because they would never decide like there was never they weren't outreaching, they weren't getting anybody new.
Pretty sure a lot of people are wondering this. How many wives does your dad have? That sounds like that kind of trick. One. All right, go ahead.
One. No, but that was like my biggest thing. I'm like, this is it's gonna die because you know you guys went from like 300 to like 50, but there's nobody new coming in. Like there's no plan. It's just everyone kind of like their plan was like to baptize people, right? But then after that, there was no direction. It was just like you just go there and you go sit and you go to church 3 times a week and that's it. That's pretty much it. And you just do the same thing over and over. And then if you're like, hey, I'm out of town, and then you go to the same church in like Texas, it's the same program, the same 4-song, like everyone's like template is the same. So like nothing's different. Like nothing. Like you could go to the same church in San Diego and it's the same. Yeah. So it's like there's no. You're just putting God in a box that way. Like there's no like miracles happening. There's no. It's just kind of like dead, in a way. You know.
Pretty interesting.
It's crazy. You gotta go. You should go once just to check it out. Like what is going? Well, it's kind of a culture shock.
It's interesting to hear that from another like organization. Yeah. I know that in the apostolic, the Pentecostal churches, how we've separated like the veil. If you don't wear a veil, we wear a veil. You go over there, we go over here.
Ours was the women. Like if you cut your hair, like there would be other like they.
Your mom has short hair.
Yeah, no, but so the church they went to is like the liberal.
Oh, you could cut your hair at your church.
Yeah, they did, but like all the ones like in the area, they don't. So
the
like
multiple cup church.
Yeah, no, they're all everything's the same except some of them. Like the women didn't wear pants. The women weren't allowed to wear pants. Like you weren't allowed to wear pants to church. But like, say you went to the grocery store or whatever, like you weren't allowed to wear pants. But like, say I went to church in Oakdale, like some of those like women would like be mean to the other ones. Like it's very like catty, like weird.
Yeah.
Right. So like that kind of stuff is like I don't, like you're being mean to somebody just for like.
Yeah.
So, don't even want to talk about if you had tattoos or not.
Well, my dad goes to a church, a Pentecostal church, and they have to wear sleeves. This wouldn't fly.
Yeah.
They have to wear sleeves down here. The women have to wear covered up. I mean, you cannot show anything. And there's another United Pentecostal church, and it's more liberal, where you can walk outside like this, and they don't associate because of like those types of things. And it's crazy how those things I know there's holiness standards there, and we want to keep it like this for a reason, but we kind of like alienate a lot of people, both sides, them, us, we, them, because of those types of things that we're drawing lines with, the veil, the shirts. There's a lot of different other.
I think about stuff like standards, like not standards, but disagreements, right? Because everyone thinks they're right. You go to a Presbyterian, they're right. Like no one thinks they're wrong, but everyone wants to agree, right? But I think the disagreement kept the church alive for so many years, right? Because conflict and disagreement, it comes tribal, and then it stays intact, right? So like after the Catholic Church, it split, right? So those disagreements, then you have another organization, and it's been around for 2,000 years. It like keeps it going, even though I think there should only be one. But those disagreements kind of kept it alive, in a way.
What do you think, Ernie?
Don't put me on the spot. This is interesting.
It's interesting. It's like, well, what hard line is it?
Yeah.
The thing you have to ask yourself is, what hard line am I going to draw the line on to say this will separate me from the other side of the body of Christ? And you got to be a heretic in my book to separate. That's the only reason we should separate is like crazy doctrine that is not in there. Like your God has a bunch of brothers and you know, we're going to be gods one day. You know, that would separate me. But all this other stuff, it's just like we major on minors, and what it is doing is just separating the body of Christ.
Yeah.
The body of Christ was never supposed to be separated, and there's only one body.
Yep.
So it's either we're all wrong and there's only one that is right, or we're all a little bit wrong, but we're still one body. And so what separates the body? So a lot of it is just men bickering on certain standards. And you know the standards that they bicker about, 40 years down their organization road, they end up getting changed anyways. Like things that when I grew up that you couldn't do, like you could do now. Like I remember, man, I was like 16, 17. I got in trouble for going to the movies. I had to have a meeting with like one of the leaders. Like, you can't go to the movies. I'm like, it was Ninja Turtles, and I'm taking my younger cousin. I'm serious. I literally got caught for going to see Ninja Turtles, taking my younger cousin that was 8 years younger than me because he wanted to see it. And nowadays, it's like, oh yeah, go to the movies, you know, or even let's go even further. You know, 30 years ago, you couldn't have a TV. Everyone in the whole church has a TV. There's a TV inside the church, you know, and so how many TVs are inside the church? And so the things that we argue about now are things that we're probably going to forget about in 20 years. And so are those hard lines where it should separate the church? Not in my book.
That's interesting. You mentioned the movies. I remember being at the same church with John and finding out John was going to the movies.
He told on me.
And John, and it was like, what? Oh my gosh, the Apodakas go to the movies. Oh my gosh, how could they go to the movies? But today, and we don't go all the time, but I've taken my family. You know, when there's the Mario Brothers that came out a while ago, Noah wanted to go, so I took him. So it's a normal thing today to go to the movies. But I remember at one time, it was like, oh my gosh, John and them, they're going to the movies. How could they? But yeah, so things change.
Yours was Ninja Turtles, though. We got in trouble for going to watch Basic Instinct.
You went to, oh my, Ernie, this is a PG show, a G show.
We probably had a right to get in trouble for, you know.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, bro.
This guy's like Ninja Turtles, you know.
That's it's a little too much, Ernie. It's a little too much info right now. No, but like, okay, so I was wrong, right, in someone's book, probably 30 years ago. But now you fast forward 30 years and, oh, we're all right. It's all good to go. And so what are you going to divide over? And to me, like I say, there's not much to divide over besides heresy. And then even that, people call us heretics, you know, on how we believe. And so who's the heretic? So for me, it's just stuff that we should divide on is those issues and nothing else. I could have church with anybody. I could go to anyone's church. I feel comfortable. Why? Because those are children of God. And in the kingdom of God, there is, if you think about it, there's no stepchildren. It's all God's children. It's only one God that we all worship. And many times we think, oh, they're the stepchildren, or they worship another God. And that's what I always tell my family. Some of my family that it's a little different. And I'm like, oh, why do we serve another God? and then it kind of stops them and they realize, okay, I'm going a little bit too far. I should, bring it back, because we do serve the same God that is graceful to all of us in all of our mistakes and how we interpret Scripture, because none of us have it right. Like, all of us think we have it right, but none of us have it right. Right. That was your shot now, Ernie. That's your.
What's that?
That was yours. Besides your other story. No, but I think that's pretty interesting, Josh, because we have different church backgrounds, but the way that played out for you is probably the way it played out for us and many of our
Yeah.
family members that left, like the churches that we used to go to. And it was almost like, we're better than you. And it's like, oh, how dare you?
Yeah, it was more. Yeah, I feel like when family gets involved, it becomes a more like betrayal, right?
Well, family and church is like a different subject altogether.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. Where when families leave a church, it's like sometimes some families don't even talk anymore. I'm like, how do you do that? You know, if someone wants to leave our church and their family, you're welcome. As long as you go to church, that's all I care about. And I was talking to a family member that we're counseling this week, and we haven't really talked for almost a decade, and we got to counsel her, and she was going through some things. And I said, look, you need to go to church Sunday. You don't need to go to my church, but go to church. Find a church that you could go to, and you and your family feel comfortable, and just start right there. And it's like, who cares what church my family goes to? Like, if one of my like real close family members were saying, hey, I'm out, I'm going somewhere, it would hurt me a little bit, but I'm like, at least they're going to church. And so for me, church is I'm happy for my family if they go to another church, as long as they're going to church. And that's where it gets sticky, is like when family leaves a church and then you stop talking, or that's where it gets ugly. And that's where I think a lot of it is tribal, like you were saying, because my family's been in the church organization for like 4 generations where we come from. Like, my grandfather's still a pastor after like close to 60 years of pastoring. He's still pastoring. And like the life that I've chosen, or the road that we've chosen, is to go another direction. And so that's even sticky. I would say some more stuff, but it's a little personal. So,
Ernie, why do you like going to the church you go to now?
because it's close, it's so convenient.
I honestly, well,
It is
one
close.
thing, it is close. It's a lot closer, but I really, really, really like the way John teaches. I do, and I tell him after
You don't have to say,
Hey,
I
wink twice, Ernie.
I told him after church
Safe
like
space.
last week, and he's just like you liar, like you just don't,
No,
doesn't believe.
you
I
know,
just
like the way we grew
you
up, like
teach.
Victor, me, you, Vin. When someone compliments you, like, you feel weird, don't you? Like, I don't need to hear that.
But I still do it intentionally because I know, I don't do
Right.
it. I won't say it if I didn't mean it, but I say it knowing he's not gonna
Like, something's
me
wrong
telling
with
him.
us. Like, the ability to tell someone you love them. Like, I don't have that ability. Like, something's wrong with me. Like, I tell my wife and my kids, and that's it. Like, what's wrong with me? I can't tell my mom. I can't tell my sisters.
Other people.
Yeah.
I can tell anybody.
Let me
If I
see.
did.
Tell them you love
Yeah, never.
No, but I can't tell my family.
Yeah, he's like,
Like,
he's sitting right
I
across
don't
from you.
need it.
Here's the
Ernie.
chance. Here's
Don't
the chance.
don't do it.
it's just, I
You don't even want to look
know
at
what it is. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, man. It's the way we grew up. Like, my dad would he was too much. Like, oh, I love you. And then my mom, I probably heard my mom say I love you like one time. And I think I took after her, where I could tell my wife for days, I could tell my kids every night, but anyone else, it just won't come off the tongue. I don't know what's wrong. What about you?
You can tell your kids.
Yeah, I could tell my
see, like
kids. I
nothing.
could tell my wife. You know, I could tell my immediate family. My dad. So it's weird. My dad didn't tell us, or not that I remembered anyways. But my dad showed us he loved us, right? Yeah. We had everything we needed. But I remember here recently, my dad started to say it, and it was like this. It was like I'd be on the phone with him,
Awkward.
and he would say, "Okay, I love." And the phone, like I knew he was saying "I love you," but he hung up the phone when it was at "I love," right there. And so he was doing that for a while. So I never had the chance to say anything back.
Yeah.
And now it's he'll say it, "I love you," and then hang up the phone. And I'm in this situation
You
where,
say
like,
it back?
should I say it? I mean, he's still kind of already there. It's already, the phone isn't, I mean, not, I'm acting like it's one of those old phones, right?
Yeah.
But the phone's probably already away from his ear. Should I say it? He's probably about to click the red button. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's still a weird
Yeah.
situation between us.
No,
two.
you know, like my dad's been in the hospital so many times, and COVID, we're like, man, I don't know if he's coming out. And then just, you know, other times here and there, and he's always doing this deathbed speech to me. John, you know, I love you. Like, Dad, knock it off, you know.
Oh,
and I
man.
can't even say like I love you right there. Like, I don't know. It's probably the way we grew up, and it's just too late for us. I don't know.
I mean, it is. I talk to my mom like almost every day, and she'll tell me, "Okay, I love you." I'm like, "Okay, bye." I'll just hang up.
You even say it back to your mom.
But it's we've never done it. Like, it's not. I don't know.
I don't hug my sisters either. I don't hug anyone in my family. I don't hug my sisters. I don't hug my mom. I don't hug my dad. I'll hug my nieces. I won't hug my nephews. Of course, I'll hug my kids and my wife, but it's only nieces. I'll touch. Like, I'll give them a hug, tell them I love them. My daughters, Tanya, not my nephews. I'll never tell them. I never embrace them. That's sad. Or anyone else. I don't know. Josh tells everyone he loves them. He hugs
Yeah,
my
I
mom
do.
on purpose.
I tell your mom I love her like once a week, and she tells me to shut up. I'm like, Kathy, we don't say it enough. And then his dad tells me he loves me like once a week too.
Yeah.
Hey, mijo, you know I love you. That's his.
Yeah, so I don't know.
I do think about that though, like not hearing it enough at home.
Yeah.
And so I try to overdo it with my kids, but sometimes I feel it's too much.
Do you
Yeah.
think it's cultural, or do you think it's like because my parents always told me they love me, but their parents never did? So do you think it's like generational thing or
Like-
cultural thing?
Like our parents not telling us? Or,
Yeah. So your parents didn't tell you they loved you?
I mean, very rarely.
Very rare.
My dad, I would say no. My mom, I'm sure there were times here and there, but not many that I remembered though.
Right.
Now it seems like in their older age, I think life kind of, hey, you know, we're not getting any younger, and so they're making it a point to say it.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it. But knowing that we didn't hear it much, if any, growing up, I think I overdo it with my kids, and I don't know if you can ever overdo telling your kids you love them. I mean, your kids should probably hear it all the time, but I always say it to them. Because because of the way I didn't really hear it much. I want to make sure
Right. So you're
they
breaking
know.
that, like,
Trying.
generational-
I think it's
Yeah.
personality too, because my two younger ones will hug and kiss me, say they love me, and my wife all the time. They'll try to sleep with us every night. What, Emma? She ain't saying she loves you, and she ain't
Sarah.
kissing you. She ain't hugging you. Like, I'll make her give me a kiss. Like, come give me a kiss, and she won't cry about it or nothing. She'll come give me a kiss, but I have to tell her to come kiss me, or I gotta hug her, or even with her mom, like, go give your mom a kiss. Gosh, Dad. And so then she'll go. But the other two, they're hugging, kissing all the time. They're very lovable. And Emma, she's just very standoffish with her feelings.
That seems to be Sarah as well. Sarah's not so willing to just embrace and hug and kiss. Noah, though, you don't even have to tell him. He's all wanted to hug you and kiss
So
you.
Sarah's like an Espinoza.
I would say so, yeah.
Where Emma, she would be considered on my mom's maiden name a Martinez. Like, they're not the most lovable or lovey-dovey to you. They're lovable, but
Yeah.
they're not going to tell you. Even sorry. Like sometimes maybe there was an argument, or maybe my mom said something. I've never heard her say sorry in my life.
I
You
can
know how
second
her?
that. I've never heard her say sorry.
Yeah. How she says sorry is the next time you see her, she acts like nothing happened. And that's her normal. Like, oh, hey, yeah, you want some? Oh, yeah.
If she's talking to you again, that's her like, hey, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So there's a lot of it. I think that is just personality and then stuff that we grew up with, where I don't know, it is affecting us, but I don't know if it really affected me in a negative way. Besides not me being able to articulate, even with my sisters, like I've never told Sharice, and she's never told me. I've never told Christy, but Deborah, she tries to hug you all the time, and she knows
She's like
she
your
does it
dad.
on purpose. That, oh, I love you, and she's trying to hug. I'm like, just get out of here. You know, so but she has a different personality. She has my dad's personality more. Where do you have a sibling that's always saying that?
No, Reba always hugs you.
Reba always hugs me at church.
Now, because Ernie, he makes himself. He doesn't. He didn't even know Reba's son's name until he started going to our church.
So
What's his name?
Church. Someone today said, your sister said you should go pray with him. He's talking about him. I said, who is that? She's like, you're so dumb.
That was Andre?
Yeah. What's crazy is Ernie has never seen Noah wrestle.
Yeah, and I've told
Wait. Let's just see this. Victor, have you seen Andre play baseball?
I've never seen Andre play baseball.
Hey, but Ernie did go see my daughter play softball.
Oh my gosh,
really?
Well, because
Have you seen John's girls play soccer?
I think I have.
Have you? I don't know.
I have. But you don't invite. Have you ever said, "Hey, Noah's got a game here, a wrestling match here. Do you want to go? You can go." Hey,
But
guys,
you know, every single Saturday for the past
I don't-
15 years,
How about you say, "Hey, family, here's the schedule for Noah's wrestling. Let me know if you want to attend any of these."
We're gonna all
that's
go to the
normal,
next
right?
one, and we're gonna do a podcast.
I have no idea when and where. You could be in like Chico someday, and you're
true.
But how many
yeah,
times?
so-
How many times though have you played video games with the boys? Noah, probably all the time.
not a lot.
No.
No, when he comes over, you guys
no.
don't play.
Comes
Yeah,
here.
what I mean,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah,
when he
yeah.
comes over.
Yeah, and
And
like
does,
Nathaniel.
does Andre play video
all the
games or
time.
no?
Yeah, he does.
You love in a different way, Ernie.
No, so Noah does call Ernie, hey, I'm looking for a new screen, a monitor. What should I get? So
Ernie's like, why don't you ask me what type of singlet you should get?
singlet. So Ernie is the go-to. Noah has contacted him many times for monitors for different technical things. Ernie will answer and give him a direction. So Ernie is there.
Is Ernie Uncle Ernie or just Ernie?
Ernie's Ernie. Yeah. No. So he'll say Uncle. He will say Uncle Ernie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my kids do say Uncle.
All my nieces, they better say Uncle. Even my nephews that are in their 20s still say Uncle.
I don't. If they say Ernie, like Nathaniel, I don't. Never.
It's because you guys are the same age almost.
No.
But if Noah says Ernie, I wouldn't even notice it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't even
No,
pick
that-
up on
that's
it.
like
I
a
wouldn't
pet
even.
peeve of mine.
Really?
When they don't
notice either.
they don't
I wouldn't have noticed.
like if Josh's kids were just to call me John, I'm like, nope. You better wash your mouth out with soap after that one. I don't know. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Where maybe because I still call my uncles.
Do you really? Yeah. I don't call anybody anything other than their name.
You're like, hey,
I
hey guy.
I
Hey, buddy.
just do. And it wasn't I want to disrespect this person, so I'm just going to call them Dave because
Right.
I just did that. No,
How about when you were younger? Do you call him uncle or no?
I don't ever remember. I don't want to say I never did. There was probably a time when I was younger I did, but at some point it changed where now they just became
for sure.
their name.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
I see how it could change at an older age. It just never changed for me.
I never pushed it on my kids to call anybody uncle because it wasn't important to me, and maybe that was wrong, and maybe I should. But if my kids were to say Ernie, if my kids were
Ernie,
to say,
was it important to you to hear it?
He felt disrespected.
Felt disrespected all these years. That's
at
probably
all.
why he's never watched Noah
I've
wrestle.
never even noticed. If Nathaniel said Uncle Ernie, I'd be like, "What is wrong with you?
Like, look how old you are.
like what are you doing?"
you know, my nephews Austin, Seth, Luke, they will always say Uncle Victor.
There you go. There's some good kids right there.
They are. So they will always say it, and I
Respectable kids right
notice it. I notice it because they're the only ones who say that, and so I notice it.
They were brought up right.
And it makes it it just makes me feel a certain way. Not in a bad way, but I just said, "Oh shoot, he just called me Uncle Victor."
So does Nathaniel call you uncle?
No.
Come on, Nate.
Yeah, Nate, come on, show some respect to your elders. Put respect on his name. Yeah, that's kind of wild. I don't know. Do you call your uncles?
Yeah, but It wouldn't have been a big deal
In
if
the
I did.
Native American culture, they still do that.
No, they wouldn't.
Josh
have been a
is
big
Creek
deal.
Indian.
But my parents.
Hold on,
never
Josh.
made me.
Wait.
What?
Did you guys know Josh is Creek Indian, and so in their culture they do stuff? Ernie, you could get us canceled for that, Ernie. Come on.
He's Native American.
So what is your native name?
It's
have a
Joshua.
name?
Joshua Whiteside.
Tell him,
My
wait,
last name's English.
tell him about Creeks. He's Creek Indian.
Creek Indians are the last Native American tribe overtaken by Andrew Jackson.
So they hate
Really?
Andrew Jackson.
We hate Andrew Jackson. We used to be part of the Seminole tribe as well, where it's like 3 tribes in one. And then they moved to Oklahoma after they lost.
And Josh has his number. What is it called?
My
He's
identification card.
actually like
So you are
Yeah, I'm
like a
for real.
real.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not a fake one. Is that what you're
gonna
saying?
ask him.
My
Yes, he gets
family.
money.
No, my
That's what
family.
he's
My
thinking.
family.
Oh, that was
came-
my next question.
Yeah,
My
you
How much
family
do you get money?
came from Oklahoma because I had family on the reservation for like 100 years, and then they moved here during the Dust Bowl.
And then they were on the
late
Oregon
30s.
Trail.
But then I have some relatives. Then I have some relatives moving back to Oklahoma,
So could
Yeah.
you go right now to a reservation and say, I want
just
to
in
take
Oklahoma.
and say,
And like it's in Muskogee, like by Tulsa.
Josh knows all of this. He's the only person I've ever met that really for real that has
In
like all this
Tulsa?
info down.
But now it's like super like Americanized, you know, because it's like
you would never go and
no, I've been there. It's just
So were
It's
you a part
Oklahoma,
of
man.
the Redskins changing their name?
no. I like that stuff. I feel the opposite. I don't feel like it's degrading. I feel like it's like oh okay.
so Florida State is the Florida State
yeah,
Seminoles. So, how did
Seminoles was like 3 different tribes. So like they were warrior tribes. So it was like Creek. It wasn't Cherokee. Cherokee wasn't like a warrior tribe, but it was Creek, Seminoles, and like another one. And it was in like Georgia, Florida area.
okay?
So like they would all fight against each other, but then when they got kind of pinned down there, when Andrew Jackson became president, that's how he won. Look that up. That's how he became. He said he was going to get the Creeks out of the South. That's like how that was like his campaign. So then they controlled all that like Florida land.
These are big brains on Josh.
You don't have like no casino money or anything like
No,
that.
I wish.
It's like, how do I get into this?
So we're.
What are you guys?
I could
My-
I could say stuff like that because like we're both.
Oh, yeah. What is your tribe?
So
No.
so I'm.
Victor's
actually-
like, don't
I'm
do
actually
it,
doing
don't
the
do it.
research
No.
right now.
Okay.
So I'm going on like.
You're going on
doing the whole
intuition
thing.
that you're Indian.
No, my dad always sends stuff, and so I'm trying to verify if that's
Right.
you know.
So you're more into your heritage and Victor's not.
Not
the way
no,
he's-
it's not. It's not that. It's more of I just want to.
Have
say
you guys
yes
ever
either
done
way.
that? The Ancestry?
That's what
I've
I'm
never.
doing
I've
now.
I wanted to. It was just too pricey. I thought I don't know. It was like $199, and I thought to myself,
So he's like,
I'm not gonna spend
Yeah.
$200
So
to
no, I
find
did.
out. I mean,
just-
I know my name. Is that
He's
good
like,
enough?
I have Ernie. They all it's different blood work and everything. It's all opposite.
My dad and my uncle both did it, and
Ernie didn't get the joke, but
they are all like we're a tribe from New Mexico, Mescalero, tribe from New Mexico and stuff. So
Dang.
I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. So I sent it.
do you have any animosity
Did you
towards
really?
Josh
I sent it
at all?
No.
Okay.
Ow.
Ernie can't be doing
We're gonna get
Just to do it.
That's cool.
Just to figure
Can
it
you
out.
become like a tribal after like Ancestry or whatever he looked into?
No, well, you can't just go off of stuff like that. No.
Because on ours, you had to be on. It's called the Dawes Act. It was like in the teens,
Mhm.
and you had to be like on like this roll. Like they took like a roll,
Yeah.
and you had to like.
So it's on your mom's or your
on
dad's side?
Ancestry. My mom's side. My dad's side is Mexican and English.
What side do you like more? The English side, huh?
The English side.
Wait, so
But-
so
My dad. So my dad's family, half are from England, and then the other half was from Mexico. So like my grandparents on my dad's side lived in Mexico.
Wow, I didn't know that. Josh.
okay, so the white side last name is
It's English.
it's
So,
not
like-
the Indian last
so
name.
Like
then.
my grandma's maiden name was Lamas because she's Mexican,
Okay.
and then that's where the white text is English.
So
Well,
what
like
was-
my dad went to Mexico every summer, like to visit like his grandparents.
what's your mom's maiden name?
My mom's maiden name was Felice.
Is that the Indian
No,
name?
the Indian name is Pittman.
Pittman. Okay.
Pittman, and then my grandpa was Spanish.
Okay.
So my mom's maiden name was Felice.
Well, I think that's come to the end, and hopefully cut out some of the comments Ernie made. Otherwise, we're gonna get
Gonna
canceled.
get canceled.
I appreciate that, Ernie.
We could
It's like we're brothers. It's like I don't know if you can say that even if you are. Okay.
Yeah, you could.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. See you hopefully in another week.